And it looks like we're recording.
Welcome to episode 2.2 of Circle and Square. Last week we recorded a podcast and it did. We got a little too drunk, so that one was live for about 3 hours, and that's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted, if you really want to hear me talk about stocks when I'm drunk and I have no idea what I'm talking about, you can hit me up and I'll show you the episode. But it's not very entertaining because it's mostly like, damn, Ben talks a lot.
Yeah, you could basically just watch Donald Trump for the last 4 years, and it was very similar to our last podcast episode, and that's why it was deleted.
You're just grifting.
Yeah, nobody felt comfortable with it, but we did have a special guest, and I'm sorry that had to be deleted too, but we'll
have more special guests in the future.
Yeah.
I'm not
Donald Trump. We apologize for having to delete your special segment, but you got kind of QAnon on us, and
as you can see, if we end up putting this video on YouTube, we were at Blake's house this week.
Nicer house, more beautiful women.
Yeah. It does.
That's why Ben was hesitant.
It does look a lot nicer.
Yeah, we got this eye behind us. That's the all-seeing eye. Also, we like to call it the pink eye.
Yeah.
But
that's the all-seeing gay eye.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, of course, last week and a little bit of this week, we had the stock trading frenzy.
Let me look into my book of all blank notes because I've done no research this week
of last week's notes.
Before we get into the actual politics and the news side of things, we have a Instagram now, correct? A Twitter now. We have all social medias. I think. I don't know. I didn't make them all.
Well, I didn't make a TikTok or anything, but
I'll take over the TikTok. I'll do the TikTok portion of this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like too old to be cool. You're like right on the cusp, But anyway, at our Twitter and our Instagram, we're going to be at Circle Square Pod. So Circle Square Pod, and then we also kind of were thinking of getting into doing some kind of like musical guest kind of thing, or if you wanted to like send a video clip of you playing something live, that'd be pretty sweet. So if you want
we have an email address
to be featured, then it's Circle Square Podcast at gmail.com.
And with that same email, you can send us questions, things you would want us to talk about, which I don't know why anybody would ever do that, or audio questions, video questions, anything like that, send them to that email. And just like funny news stories. I want to get more into funny news stories.
Yeah, I think funny news stories are really funny.
I really don't care about fucking the news anymore. I just look at my hair right now. I look like shit.
Yeah.
The politics of the world have me fucking dying. I just want to have fun with my friends with a camera on me so I can find big booty bitches to hang out with.
Yeah, and I've been trying to find some as well.
Not big booty bitches, but you want big booty britches.
I'm getting a lot of
that belong to boy.
Getting a lot of flack for not a lot of flack, but I've heard through the grapevine that some of my friends are disappointed that I'm driving to Austin this weekend. So I'm going to drive down to Austin because well, I mean, there's like some people I know down there that I can hang out with, but there's also, some people that I can hang out with too.
Dude, my favorite thing about all the people in Omaha at least, that are always posting about being disappointed and shit, I always see them at the bars. And it's like, oh yeah, as long as you go to one bar, it like doesn't matter. But it's always those people that are leading the fucking parade of
I don't know. Everyone wants to like. It's like, our country's not going to give us any money, so then you want to, it's like, well, I need to get a job. Okay, well, if no one comes to your job, then your job's going to close. Like, do you understand? Like, we can't just, like, shit just can't stop. You can do whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't fault anyone for wanting to stay home. It's funny because, like, I am in the position to stay home and order food this whole time, and you know what I mean, and not go out and see anybody, which is what some of my friends have been doing. But like those people that kind of have like the privilege to do that, you know, it's like, okay, whatever. If you want to do it, you could do it. Maybe I don't want to.
Dude, my thing is everybody's like support local, support sex workers. Dude, guess what? I've been to the strip club probably 3 times since the pandemic, and I wore my mask the whole time. But guess what? I'm supporting local and sex workers.
I haven't been to the strip club once. I was just thinking about it the other day.
Dude, it's fine. I mean, it's a strip club. It's still not sanitary. I'm more worried about catching something else than fucking COVID is the least of my fucking... I'm eating chicken wings at Spearmint Rhino and their butts are over the plate. I'm not worried about goddamn fucking... I'm more worried about E. coli.
Yeah. Someone's pussy's going to sneeze and give you a chlamydia.
Yeah, I don't think COVID spread by fucking pussy juice. If it was, I would still not have COVID.
Yeah, I think HIV might be spread by that. Every time I go in, they used to give me it's like a quiz. It was like, okay, what are the 5 ways that HIV could be spread? And it's always like stuff you don't say. It's like, okay, it's like blood, breast milk,
puss,
vaginal
puss.
Juices, and anal secretions. And there's one more, breast milk. What was the other one? I don't know if it can be in saliva, but anyway.
All I'll say is, if COVID could be spread by
eating,
no, not even that. Just all right. If COVID was only spread by sexually transmitted, I would be the most not likely person to ever have COVID ever, because I haven't had sex in like a year.
Gay people would be eradicated from
for all you
the world. Because gay people were like 3 weeks into this pandemic, and then Grindr was just kind of just like popping off. It's just crazy. Everyone's like, but it's really funny the amount of like virtue signaling that ends up like happening on Grindr too. Like guys will be like their little headline. Like sort of like their username, but it'll be like, wear your mask, you know, or like
already had it, and you're like,
it was like, or it'll
AIDS
be like
or COVID. Which one have you already?
It'll be like, well, it'll be like, got my second shot. And like right after like RBG died, it was like R.I.P. RBG and shit. Got my second shot. Yep, I got gonorrhea a second time. I'm cured again.
R.I.P. RBG. Welcome HIV. That's fucked up. I'm sorry, but when people are like, but I already got the disease, that has to be worrisome on Grindr. It's like, what disease did you?
Yeah, everyone's
got it, beat it.
Everyone's like on PrEP now, which is like this thing you can take to like not make you get HIV, kind of like birth control, but it's like it fucks up like your liver, your kidneys and stuff, and like all these dudes are on it. It's just like,
because Ben, out of all things that he does in his everyday life, like drinking and abusing, he needs to worry about his liver and his kidneys for not getting AIDS. You could probably just drink less.
Yeah, that'd be better for my liver. But see, then I can't do that, and I can't drink and be on this medication. Sex. I can still have sex. I'm a top. I'm less likely to get it anyway.
Speaking for myself.
Yeah. Well, I've been lucky enough during this pandemic, so I'm pretty good.
Well, I'm glad I'm sitting 2 feet away from Ben right now, so I'm probably gonna get a lot of different diseases.
We
also did we do shots out of the same?
No, we had different ones.
Oh, thanks. All right, let's get into some stuff. Where do you want to start, Ben?
Well, I feel like we can post about the stock market later, because it's just funny, like, because that already just kind of happened, you know. Did you have anything in AMC, or did you throw anything in?
No, but our original podcast 2 was all about the stock market.
No, I know,
because it was
just happening. It was just happening.
We got too drunk.
Yeah, we got way too drunk to put that out. But so yeah, it's just funny. I did put out a few. I hope that still keeps recording when we.
Yeah, it's still recording.
I did put out a few, or I bought a few options calls for.
I saw it. This is a perfect time to get into Ben's stock advice.
Ben stock advice.
What did you say? You were up 8% last week or something like that, and you were $1,000 profit.
Yeah.
You sent me a link.
Yeah. But see, this is what happens is like. I need to learn to like just take profits, because I could have like had so many profits this entire time. But what I always do is I like try and hold on to it a little much longer. And like, I don't know, there's usually just not like a second boom with these kind of things. And so like,
dude, your stock game's a lot like my relationship status. I always hold on a little too long for the second boom, and it never comes. And I just end up crying in a closet.
So like, I was up a little bit on the AMC, and then it like tanked again. So then I ended up losing all the money that I put on that call, which is like $400. That kind of sucked. Then I had this one stock. The ticker is HUGE. Huge.
Hold on. One more stock market joke. One reason that your investment and my relationships are different is my relationships never suck.
But I took out like a lot of options contracts on this one pharmaceutical company, and I need like the price to go up to like about $5, and so it started going up. But I've had these option contracts out for like a month. They expire in a couple weeks, and I had them out for like a month, and basically it like instantly tanked, and I was just basically down. I was like down $1,000, and I was like, great. And then all of a sudden it like went up, and I was like up like $800, and I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then I sold half of them so I could at least get some money.
Your investments go down on you. My relationships never do.
You're so stupid.
Wait, I thought this podcast, this segment was called Ben's investments advice and Blake's relationships advice, because they go parallel together.
Yeah, it's not relationship advice. You're just talking about your relationships. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that too much, because it's stupid.
Sooner or later, we both end up selling.
Well, and last week I got really drunk and was trying to explain basically like I knew everything that I was talking about, like about stocks and options and shit. And I realized I'm like, why should I try to explain this kind of stuff to people when I don't really know what I'm talking about. Like, I think if anyone, like someone who goes on CNBC could like probably explain it a lot better than I could. So like, why would I do this when I could just refer to like someone on CNBC? And why not just listen to him right now?
Well, Andrew, I see the whole thing is like I'm watching a giant National Geographic nature film. This is how I would actually explain it to a young person who's trying to understand what happened. I mean, like a 5-year-old. First, there were these people called lions. They're long sellers, and they they noticed a wildebeest that seemed to be hobbling. It was called GME stock, and they ate it. This stock was $163, went down to $4. Then along came the hyenas. They're called short sellers, and they fed off the carcass of GME. And these hyenas, they're magical hyenas, they actually made the carcass grow 50% larger than it really was. Then along came a group called short squeezers, a whole new group. Okay?
Is this porn?
And they were vultures who ate the hyenas, basically. And the really smart vultures ate and flew away when the stock was $500. The dumb ones are going to stick around and keep eating, and in the end, the lions will come along and eat them, and the stock will eventually go back to $4 or $5. It's the circle of life. Hakuna Matata, baby.
Hold on. So, The Lion King was originally an animated movie, and then Disney took it and then made it live action. Then CNBC took it and made it into a stock film, and then Pornhub finally claimed its last stake in it, and there's vultures eating. What the fuck?
My favorite. Okay, so I know that was a very simple explanation for like a 5-year-old.
It was confusing me.
No, I mean,
or making me horny. I'm not sure which one.
just listen to it. I mean, it's a very concise story. So what happened was there were these people called lions.
Horny vote.
I love how he goes, and he was like,
then they're stupid.
He said, and the lions eat the wildebeest, and then the hyenas come along, but you see they're actually magical hyenas. So when they eat the wildebeest grows in size.
What's that guy's name? We got to give him some credit. Can I see what he looks like?
He looks like a retired cop, or like a firefighter.
No. That
It's
guy?
something Friedman. Oh, Thomas.
No,
Friedman.
that guy looks like if fucking Mr. Potato Head was a real fucking human. That's Mr. Potato Head in real life.
That is. So he gives. I mean,
no,
thank you
we
so
can't
much
say
to him
he gives
for
real news because Ben, just read what that headline is.
Reddit Revolution.
That can't be real news.
It's on CNBC. Anyway, it's funny that I just love his stories. Like, I'll explain it. This is how I'd explain it to a 5-year-old, and it's like so fucking stupid. But yeah, thought you guys would like that. Another thing, if we'll go on beyond that, oh my God, this would be a great This Week in the Left segment. This was kind of on like a few things that I follow as well, and it's just one of those things that like sometimes when stories when stories go so far beyond, like there's always one op-ed or one story that's like just fucking stupid, and so everyone like obviously picks up on it, and it's
there's
like
only one or two of them.
No, I'm just saying there's a million, but it's like I'm signaling this out, but also like not. Of course, people don't think like this. This is only like a few people, but these are like the people that are really loud on social media that think these kind of things. But there was some teacher in San Francisco, and she wrote a column in the San Francisco Chronicle. I don't know if it was an op-ed or opinion piece or what, but it was basically about how her and her class. She's like, how do I want to explain this Bernie Sanders meme to my children in the class, because my students were seeing that there was some like underlying misogyny in the fact that Bernie Sanders was looking so cold and mean when such a historic thing was happening, and it's historic for black women, so he's being disrespectful by sitting with his arms crossed and a scowl, like this kind of stuff. And she was basically like saying like, this was part of her lesson for her students, and like in
where was
subtle
this at?
misogyny. This is in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, where there's a giant homeless problem, and there's an app where people are shitting on the streets, and you can literally look what streets to not walk down because people are shitting on them.
That's what's wrong with those people, man. It's like, and that's why it's like, it's funny because people want their cities to be more like, it's like we need more like liberal run, Democrat run cities, and it's like, I don't know. Can you imagine if like, I don't know. I guess Omaha would never become somewhere like San Francisco, but like, yeah, and I'd rather have someone who has empathy. My thing is like
that's different than empathy though.
That's what I'm saying. I was saying liberal and conservative. That shit is different than like people who have empathy. I feel like people who are in just like in government in general just like lack a lot of empathy. You look at like Gavin Newsom. Even I was seeing some articles on CNN about
he's being recalled right now.
But yeah, well he should be. I mean he's a fucking cuck. He My friend who I work with sent me an article, and he was like, is there anywhere else I can get news from? Because he's like, this fucking coverage of Gavin Newsom, it's like they're like covering how he's being recalled, but still every other sentence is like kind of like a filleting sentence. Like it's sort of like they're like describing him as sort of just like it's almost like they're fawning over him in the article, even though they're saying like some people say that like he did this thing, and
like he's gonna die for, and he's gonna get recalled.
And it's like he was once lauded by President Trump for working so well during the COVID pandemic and working well with Trump on blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but he fucking told everyone to like stay inside, and he's like
also,
going and eating.
The person that wrote this article probably hate Trump, and now we're using
yeah exactly. And it's just it's funny that like, I don't know. They're so California, I mean, it's just like the hypocrisy going there. And, well, really, any of these people in government. It's like the governor of Texas or something was like doing some kind of like video call and was telling everyone how important it is to stay inside and shit. And he was doing the video call from like a vacation home in like another country. He was like in Mexico or something.
Newsom he got famous for, he comes from a winery.
Yeah,
a family that grew it, and then he closed down all private schools.
Yeah, he comes from a very rich family, and
we're still going to school.
We're still going to school. His winery was still open. He was eating at the French Laundry.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, he's a dumbass. I mean, like and people like that. I mean, that's like Nancy Pelosi. You know, she knows the fucking salon's closed, and she's out there fucking having the private,
and that's
salon
her
experience
nephew.
Or whatever. Yeah, they're, of course they're related.
And now we have fucking what's his name up in New York. He's up for
Cuomo.
Yeah, no, is it Cuomo?
Andrew Yang, the mayor of New York City, or the De Blasio.
Who's up for a fucking?
Oh, that's Schumer, Chuck Schumer. He's up for re-election in the Senate. You mean?
No, he's up for a fucking. What award is he up for?
Oh no, Andrew Cuomo's up for like an Emmy or something.
Yeah, an Emmy for the way that he handled. Are you shitting me?
Some kind of thing. Yeah, and his response to COVID was like famously bad.
Put all these old people on fucking cruise. Didn't he take people out of old folks' homes and put them on cruise ships, or did he take people out of cruise ships and put them in old folks' homes?
I think it was the latter.
It was one of two ways.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically like cramming a bunch of old people in together to like get sick and die. And
both terrible ways to handle.
Anyway, I did want to read some tweets in relation to the Bernie Sanders meme because I think our audience will find them very enlightening.
All 6 of them?
This one is from some white chick on Twitter. No, I'll admit the Bernie memes are funny, but his openly grumpy disposition during a very historic moment for women, and particularly women of color, speaks volumes to me. And then so it was funny because someone got a picture of Janet Yellen, who's she's the secretary of what? Secretary of like
Feminism.
finance or something.
Feminism,
no, what is it? But anyway, they got a picture of her like looking the exact same way, just all bundled up, cute,
Yeah, maybe like, it was cold. Yeah, and maybe we're not real glad about the guy that probably could have died of fucking pneumonia.
This sounds like a bot or something. It's sexist he ran against Warren. It's sexist that he has a loud voice and culturally specific way of speaking. It's sexist that he doesn't dress better. It's sexist. Oh, she's being sarcastic. That he sat on a chair away from everyone during a pandemic. It's sexist that he is tall. Men need to get shorter. It's okay. You can stay.
I was gonna say
that's so funny. I know everyone. I hate getting into like the Elizabeth Warren debate because it's stupid, but also people that were like so gung-ho when it was like obviously not going to work, or also maybe who I would consider not the brightest. I don't know, not the brightest. It's just like sometimes you don't
be ableist on my podcast.
Yeah.
But thank God Ben is, if you're watching on YouTube, he is I'm really happy that he is sticking up for predators. He wore his favorite Bill Cosby sweater tonight.
I have been into these big sweaters lately. I do like this gold one a lot, but my Bill Cosby one's still at home. God, I had an interesting week too. I hope this person doesn't listen to this podcast because
we should probably pause it and tape back up your just so everybody knows on the video and the podcast. Ben, who is supposed to be our Lord and Savior, the leader of this podcast, forgot one of the most important parts of the podcast, and that is the thing to hold up the microphone. So now he's holding it up with his hand. So we're going to take a pause, and we're going to retape it onto a chair.
See you in a bit. Hang on, I'm going to see about... Oh, that's a good spot. That's good. Oh, it's going to go down again, doesn't it? If only I remembered my shit, huh? Oh, hey, we're back.
All right, so we have some things to talk about. What are they?
Well, there's a politician that I do really like. Her name is Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and I was really excited when she got elected. I was really excited when she did this shit where she like was like, we're gonna do a sit-in in Nancy Pelosi's office and we're gonna get some shit done. I was like, hell yeah. And then she was like, we're gonna do the Green New Deal, we're gonna come out that, and I was like, hell yeah. And then everything after that's kind of been basically
she fell into line of being a politician.
Yeah, basically the progressive, it's just turned into like Democratic shit. It's like they're always working towards the next re-election. They're always working towards just like, it's like framing shit in a way to they can spend the least amount of money on people and get the least amount done, but while seeming like they're gonna do something. I don't know. And I really don't want to like, I don't even really want to play the video per se.
I do. I think it's fucking hilarious.
Well, so AOC made this video about her reaction to the Capitol riots, and the way you would feel from watching this video is like sort of like there were a bunch of people outside of her office, or like even kind of like in the vicinity of where they were. I know some some of the other buildings, they were on lockdown or whatever, but all this stuff was happening in a different building. So the fearing for your life thing, I get it, but it's also like it's kind of a little overdone, maybe. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Anyway.
The reason I say this and the reason I'm getting emotional in this moment is because these folks who tell us to move on, that it's not a big deal, that we should forget what's happened, or even telling us to apologize, these are the same tactics of abusers. And I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And I haven't told many people that in my life. But when we go through trauma compounds on each other. And so whether you had a negligent or, a neglectful parent, or whether you had someone who was verbally abusive to you, whether you are
someone that's verbally abusive to you, I'm sorry.
So
is that
I get, and I'm not downplaying anyone's
me
trauma.
I'm not, but is there any person in this world that has not been a victim of verbal abuse?
Well, it does create trauma.
It does create trauma. I agree.
I know, and I'm acting like I'm being sarcastic. Like I understand. It's just like tying this into this whole thing where.
Why did this video only came out after somebody called her out for not being
not being directly involved in this riot thing,
her making it up, and then she's using it as a platform
to be like, I'm a survivor of
they're silencing
abuse
me, they're fucking gaslighting me.
So, and it's like,
my whole thing is, how are you so not dumb but so naive that you could think that something that big of news, it's not going to come out that you're not in the actual place.
Exactly. Well, and it's not like, I don't think it's not like she was saying that she was there really. Like, I don't think
did you hear the original thing she said?
No.
Oh, we should find that. There was one part of it about her hiding behind a door.
Oh yeah. The thing is, they were all in their offices hiding, even if they weren't at the they were all on the Capitol. They just weren't at where the people were storming.
Plaza.
Where like, was that the Senate chamber that they were storming? The Senate, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, the Senate chambers where they broke into.
Yeah, which is different from where the House is and where her office is and where
It made it sound like she was behind the door and she said something in her original video saying like,
the people were about to come in.
This is it. This is the end. This is the end of my life. It's a little extreme.
It's a little much. That is a little much. Yeah, and so it's just we can't use this as like a springboard to just like for fucking like I mean, it's like I get people died. I get people. It's like, but this isn't like 9/11 or whatever. You know, this is like a. It is pretty interesting though that we had the Capitol riots happen. Then we had like basically like people trying to force a transfer of wealth because our government won't do it for us. You know, like via Wall Street, and how basically like no matter what we do, we can't get the change that we need. You know what I mean? Because like even when we try to
see
do
like
it,
Jeff Bezos, I want to see a video of him behind a door, be like, I could hear him coming in, and I felt like this was the end.
He's like in Seattle or wherever he lives.
And then I had to drop down and not become. That's also news this week.
Oh yeah,
he's not going to be the CEO anymore.
Yeah, I mean he's taking his money. He's getting out while it's like he's getting out at a good time. It's like when Bill Gates stepped down from
like
Microsoft.
Steve
you know
Miller
what I mean?
wants to take your money and run.
Yeah, now I'm sure now he can do other things with his time, like put more money into the news network that he owns. That everyone's I had
sex with women that are.
Yeah,
equally as hot as the wife that you already have. If you're going to cheat on your wife, at least make sure that they are way more hot. Why would you you made this woman the most rich woman in the world.
Yeah.
And she's as hot as the girl you cheated on her with. At least, like, fucking, what about, like, Meg the Stallion? Like, if I had that much money and I was gonna cheat, it'd be like Cardi B or Meg the Stallion. That's who I would. But, like, god damn, the one girl that he cheated on her with literally looks like Jeff Bezos with a wig on.
Come on now. My mic's dropping again, but oh well.
Just like my nuts.
This is awkward. I will say that's like my my quote for this podcast series is what I will say is I always say that all the time.
And I usually ignore it right after you say that.
Yeah, like I don't know. Using this stuff as an excuse to drop the I'm a victim of assault card to try and like defer away this allegation that's true. That's like, okay, there weren't like people there. It's kind of gross to me. It might be inspiring to some other people. I'm sure it is. I'm sure.
It's just weird when she decided to use that.
Yeah. No, I know. It's almost like it was like, well, it's time to get this out now because this is like my last. If I have an oopsie, I can kind of like throw out this like thing that I am a survivor.
Yeah, it's
not.
God, it's fucking honestly like kind of really disrespectful of people that have actually like survived. I'm not saying AOC didn't survive, but for her to use that as a defense mechanism is kind of offensive to people that have survived actual things.
Totally. Yeah. And I've just been noticing that about, like I said, AOC had a couple like fucking cool shit when she was first elected, but this whole like,
well, she found that money. She figured out how much you make and your retirement settled, and then she's like, "Fuck, I can deal with Nancy Pelosi for until she dies."
Yeah. Well, all these, I don't know.
I don't think Nancy Pelosi is ever gonna die.
I don't think so either. Like anyone who you hate and is like a leech on society, like always lives forever. It's like rich politicians that are bad for society, and then like people who like do drugs all day, smoke meth all day, and like eat like nothing but Burger King and drink Mountain Dew. Like those people somehow like live forever. Have you noticed that?
Why are you targeting my family? I've had a lot of people die in my family, and now you're targeting us.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about. It's like people who like walk down to the gas station for like a big Mountain Dew and like a pack of cigarettes every day, and like
you're targeting my family again, Ben. What the fuck is wrong with you? What did I do to you today? My great uncle Doug did nothing to you. What's next? You're not going to be able to buy a 64-ounce fucking Big Gulp?
Do you remember when I think it was before Giuliani was mayor. Maybe it was when Bloomberg was mayor of NYC. That was when they had the campaign against like fat children or whatever. No, I don't think that's what it was called. Like against obesity.
Yeah.
And then
they banned
the big gulps.
Yeah, that was. I think it was.
It was Bloomberg. It was Bloomberg.
Yeah. Well, we all saw how he did in presidential elections.
That was so embarrassing. And what's funny is like I don't know. That was just really embarrassing. Like to throw all that money at an election.
We don't live in New York. How's that embarrassing to us?
No, it's just embarrassing for him. I mean, like like so rich and he could just like basically like bought like one. I think he won like American Samoa or something. Got like one electoral vote. Or is that Tulsi? No.
Don't fucking bring Tulsi into this.
Yeah, someone got one electoral vote. Guess who got none? Kamala Harris. Guess who is probably going to be president when Joe Biden dies, you know? It's just like the irony. It's like...
I'm glad you said her name because every time I say it wrong and then I feel like
Kamala.
I feel like I'm dead naming her or something. Because people get mad.
No, the only thing is she's been on my radar for a long time. I remember seeing...
What kind of radar do you have?
I remember seeing an interview she did with the Breakfast Club, like when she was first going to announce her run for presidency. And I actually was like... I don't know. She seems kind of like, I thought I was like, she seems kind of interesting, personable, you know, like I actually kind of enjoyed her at first. And then, you know, you start looking into stuff and then you're like, okay, maybe not. And then, and then after a couple times of like the debates and just being like, wow, this is rough.
Bringing back to the first episode of Circle and Square, you know,
I know, basically talking about all that.
You know, who else was on the Breakfast Club? Hillary Clinton with her
with
fucking
the
thing of hot sauce.
I think Bernie went on Breakfast Club too. I mean, they all did.
I bet you he didn't bring hot sauce. Though.
Yeah.
He probably spoke politics, maybe.
I remember when Bernie was on Joe Rogan, it was great. Oh, do you know what I rewatched the other day? I know it's like we're like two white dudes. I'm straight enough, I guess. But we're talking about Joe Rogan. But you know that episode that it was a little over maybe like 2 years ago with Elon Musk, like the one where he like smokes the blunt. Yeah, he takes the hit. Famously, that's actually like a really good episode. I was trying to watch it with a friend of mine yesterday, and it's just funny because like if I'm trying to watch like an interview, like a long form interview podcast with people, especially when it's someone like Joe Rogan who people like hate for some reason, you know what I mean? Like they just like have this thing where like Joe Rogan's this bro, like he's transphobic or whatever, you know what I mean? And so they have this thing that he's just like some douchebag, you know? Which is just funny because he, you know, it's like, doesn't claim to be smart. And then it's just like, and it's just like, he's filleting Elon Musk this entire time. He's just filleting him. He's just basically telling him what he wants to hear. I was like, yeah, that's what you do when you're interviewing someone because you want, like, if you're having a long form interview and you have a guest, you want them to say like all this stuff.
Also, he questioned Elon Musk tons in those.
No, I know, but even if someone's playing on your good side, it's like it's interesting to see what they think. So if you just play into like what they're saying or just kind of ask them questions about their thinking, it's not like you have to challenge everyone all the time because that doesn't make it okay. Here's a tip for everybody. Being adversarial all the time to people doesn't help change people to your side. It doesn't help people like you or trust you or be comfortable around you.
No, it does, dude, because you haven't noticed when you banned a bunch of people off Twitter, everybody that agreed with us, but they immediately went against those people. They didn't tweet in response to all those people. They immediately went against them. So when you go against something that somebody says, they change their opinion to go the way that you go.
It depends. I mean, it depends what side you're on too, because I feel like people on the right are a lot more like, it's not like they're questioning because they think they have like facts they think they have facts, not like because they have facts or anything, but they're a lot more distrusting of systems. I think it's just really funny how like the left, which has been wronged so many times by like mainstream media and like the Democratic Party and like, but people just still like are so defensive. I had a friend tell me he like messaged me and he was like, why didn't I know that Jeff Bezos owned the Washington Post? And I was like, you didn't know that? I thought everybody knew that.
What's super funny to me is like all the people this year that were originally Bernie supporters and then
now they're like cheering on censorship.
Well, not just that. They were like, Trump started screaming out that there was election fraud, which There's definitely election fraud.
Yeah, there's always election fraud, just, in whatever amounts. It's probably not enough to swing an election.
It's not enough to
whatever.
swing an election, but the people that, like, were originally Bernie voters and then voted for Biden was like, oh, there's no way to fucking affect an election. And it's like, dude, 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, the election got stolen from right in front of our eyes.
Yeah. And well, it's like so quickly that people forget that stuff like that happens. Yeah. And like, the thing with the primaries this year, there was bullshit happening in the primaries this year too, specifically in Iowa and specifically with South Carolina.
Bernie probably would have won this year.
That's what I mean. And so they had to do something. But like,
you mean to tell me a guy that didn't fucking campaign at all smoked Bernie and smoked all these people?
It's kind
Andrew Yang.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very interesting how that all played out. Whatever, and everyone knows. Everyone kind of knows the story. Maybe not everyone who listens to this, whatever. But it's just crazy how people can see the Democratic Party specifically like cheat and like steal elections and stuff, and then like basically rig a primary. I know it's their primary, it's a Democratic primary, whatever, but they can see that and then even be upset about it. And then when it's not your side, and then Trump's losing, it's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot if you think there's election fraud. You're a fucking idiot if you think that anyone would cheat or whatever.
I think we have no idea right now where America really is, because the only reason that the left elected Biden was because Trump was running against him. Mm-hmm. And the only reason that the right, or majority of the right, were defending a politician like that was because it was Trump. So it'd be interesting to see if they were both just super like a left-wing politician and a right-wing politician, how the voting would have happened and how the country was divided.
Or if they could get someone who is like actually centrist and not like just a Republican or like a Republican light. If they could get someone who has actually had like some sort of like, I mean, like, I don't even think that Biden doesn't even seem to have a plan. It's all these other people who have like a plan for him, but it's like all this stuff that's happening is just kind of like being like shape-shifted, and then he just like comes out and then says like some random shit every once in a while that doesn't make any sense, you know what I mean? Or it's like they were talking about the $15 minimum wage and all this shit. I remember when there were some reporters when they were talking about the $2,000 payments, and like Joe Biden did an interview, and then or he did like this like event where he spoke for like 2 minutes or whatever, and Kamala Harris was there, and then they were walking off the stage together, and some reporters like, do you support $2,000 payments ever? And he was like, yes. He's walking around. He's like, yes. It's like really awkward, But the whole thing with the 2002, there's like a montage of people that I watch, or like all these clips of like Ossoff and Warnock, campaigning in Georgia and being like, and we're gonna get you $2,000 payments right away when Joe Biden gets into office. And everyone's like, yay! It's basically like what like got them Georgia, and then now they're like capitulating and being like, actually 1,400 plus 600 equals 2,000. Then it's like, oh, we don't know if we're gonna be able to do it until March. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna be like,
what was the first thing that got announced when fucking Biden was into office, that we're going back into, was Iraq, Afghanistan,
Iran?
We were putting more troops.
But sorry, there was something about Afghanistan. Yeah. Afghanistan.
I got an alert on my phone today. It was Biden must have had some mix up in one of his press. Yeah, and it said it was a CNN thing. I would have to look on my phone, but it said something along the lines of like, CNN exclusive. Remember when Biden has a mix up that you're making fun of, like,
of the president?
No,
an old man.
A speech impediment.
Oh yeah.
When he was Obama's vice president, when did you ever hear that he had a speech impediment?
Well, it was never mentioned because he was actually like younger and sharper back then, or like he was still old, but he was like not going. He's not deteriorating.
But now
mentally.
That should be our major focus. Every time he talks, when he fucks up, it's he stutters.
It's so annoying.
What about when he just says something that's stupid?
It's so annoying. No, I mean it's really annoying because he's clearly mentally deteriorating. He's clearly very old. They clearly probably have him on some kind of amphetamines or whatever. I'm not going to speculate. Like, I'm sure that's what they all do. Whatever.
He's had a brain surgery, hasn't he?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I haven't never heard about that. I think you should look it up. But it's just funny how much. Yeah, people wanted to like excuse that away so badly, and so they kept on talking about like him having a stutter, and it's like, okay, I know he has a stutter. A stutter doesn't make you say stupid shit. A stutter doesn't make you like lie. A stutter doesn't make you. It's just so crazy how they. It's like you're always being ableist. You're always being against people with disabilities.
Vice President and now President-elect Joe Biden had surgery on his brain on 2 occasions in 1988.
Yeah, I mean that's back in the 80s. I mean he's obviously been fine. I'm just saying people get old. People get old and they start deteriorating mentally. It's not crazy to say that. It's not crazy to point it out, but then people just want to act like you can't say anything bad because he's the one that's the nominee on our side and now the president or whatever. Like it's not even saying anything bad. It's just like when people tell lies, it's not because they have a speech impediment or a stutter, okay? You know, it's crazy.
Wait, hold on.
This is how we do on this podcast, y'all. Looking up stuff on our phones. Anyways, I would like to thank.
You should two.
It's fine. That's even if you had surgery back in the 80s. I mean, that's a long time ago. I'm just saying when someone's old, they start deteriorating mentally. It happens to everybody. It's obviously not really happening too much to Bernie Sanders.
Why we shouldn't be electing fucking
these old dinosaurs,
80-year-old people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like Joe Biden was like the perfect chosen nominee for this or anything. It's not like.
He was the chosen nominee for this.
He was definitely the chosen nominee. He wasn't the one that they really wanted. It's just so funny how they tried. I wish they could just realize that like Twitter, it's because the political sphere just like is all inhabited in Twitter. It's like I wish they could just realize that it's not real life. Like not everyone doesn't think like these loud people on Twitter think, you know. It's not everyone isn't obsessed with identity. Oh my god, one of my fucking friends posted, all I had to do was they posted something about how fucking beautiful it was that it was like our first black woman vice president swears in the first openly gay cabinet member to the office, you know, like on the Bible or whatever the fuck, you know, like it's just like Kamala Harris swearing people to judge in for Secretary of Transportation. The thing that he should not be Secretary of, they had some issues with. I have to look up this one story about back in Indiana, but she posted and she was like, this is America. This is what America looks like. This is what we should be, blah, blah, blah. And you know, and then some like Trumper dude like commented, was just like, actually, and he said a bunch of like inflammatory shit and like, you know, all the stuff where like check your facts and do some research, all that kind of shit that those people normally say. But he was saying about how because Trump actually nominated an openly gay person for a cabinet position when he was first doing his cabinet, but then like the Democrats in the House or the Senate, whoever votes on their nomination, like didn't nominate him. So they like went against the nomination. So Trump could have actually had the first openly gay cabinet member, but I'm sure if it would have happened under Trump, you wouldn't have heard about it at all. But of course you didn't hear about him nominating him either because it was Trump, right? Yeah. And everyone's saying this. So that guy pointed that out, and then I said something about like, oh, actually that dude's right. I mean, like you guys all hate him because he's saying like do your research or whatever, but he has a point, you know. Then of course like a bunch of white bitches have to, you know, laugh react what I say to like show that they're defiant against me on Facebook or whatever. And it's just like, you know, whoever can get the most heart emojis, and then like some bitch post is like, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna be supportive of a president who is openly racist and openly sexist and openly homophobic. And I don't know, someone said to me the other day too, they were like, well, Trump hates gay people. And I was like, I don't think Trump hates gay people. You know what I mean?
Trump just hates anybody that disagrees.
Yeah, yeah. He's just rich and he just likes yes men. You know what I mean? It's like he's just a rich person. It's just crazy how people like they personify this political ideology, and now it's like, oh, this is what Trump is because he passed some laws that were Islamophobic when he had the Muslim ban and stuff, you know, and from the Arab countries or whatever.
The Harris Buttigieg thing should have said something like, California's biggest cop, most important cop, supported Indiana's most supportive fucking person, 4 cops who have both ignored massive fucking.
So a lot of stuff doesn't get, you wouldn't know a lot of stuff about Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg because, of course, like our media, which, I will say, liberal controlled media. I mean, it's a thing. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear that. They're like, what about Fox News? It's like, yeah, but all these fucking like independent, like big tech based, news things that give you push notifications are all kind of skewed, whatever. So Pete Buttigieg, when he was running for president, he put out this plan. It was called like the Douglas plan or something, like the Frederick Douglass plan for Black America or something, like this will be my agenda for Black Americans when I'm president. And he had all these co-signers on it. And there was this one person who like came out really defiantly because they sent out a list. They sent out this email to like a bunch of prominent Black scholars and like important people in the community politically, and they sent out this mass email, and it was basically like, if you don't reply to this email, we're going to assume that you're supportive of this plan. So basically they put everyone's name on to sign on to Pete Buttigieg's plan who like didn't respond to the email or whatever. And so it was like all these Black people, and they were like, wait, why is my name on this thing, right? And a bunch of people came out about it and were like, why he's like faking, he's like saying I'm supporting his thing that I never said I was supportive of just because they sent me an email. That got like no coverage, but it's like so like it's like so fucked up.
And wasn't there like a whole other thing about? There was
like a shooting in Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah. And he fired like the Black head of the police.
Yeah, he buried it under the rug.
Yeah, and there was also something where a Black kid, it's coming back to me now, got like run over by a car because they were kind of like gentrifying this part of the city. They were taking out like a stoplight, but that everyone all the people were like, oh, this is really necessary, but they like took it out to like build some like cool little like sidewalk thing with trees. And some Black kid got like ran over. It's not relevant that the kid's Black, but then when you can say his response to it was shitty, then you can use that as an angle. I'm sure that's what people do. Really, but like some kid like got killed, so it's ironic that like he's like going to be the Secretary of Transportation when like he like had like this like traffic fade. That's kind of digging.
Buttigieg's biggest, the thing that they both agree with more than anything is they both like locking up innocent Black people. That's perfect.
When you know who overwhelmingly doesn't support either of those people is Black people. If you ask a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure now Kamala Harris is like the slay queen vice president.
I don't think a lot of Black people probably. I think
it's like
I guarantee you, it's not the same support that Barack Obama had.
It's college educated, kind of this woke crowd that really supports this kind of shit. But normal people, working class people, don't kind of give a shit about this kind of stuff. And it's just so funny that we just capitulate to this woke Twitter crowd. It's annoying to me. But what do you do? It's the world that we live in. I know. It's just hearing Elon Musk talk about stuff the other day, even though it was like 2 years old, just kind of like previewing the Neuralink even, and just kind of being like, like humans don't need our bodies anymore. We can just have like a world that we exist in,
We'll just give them to rapists, probably.
I mean, you could probably rape people in the simulation.
No, we give our bodies to rapists.
Or like sexual deviants or like sex addicts.
Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's really funny how people don't seem to know or think that like rich people actually like do fucked up sexual shit and like rich people have been doing that stuff for years.
Yeah, ancient Greece.
Exactly. Anyone who ever had power was like the first thing they do is like fuck children.
Well, no, not the first thing. You fuck all the women in your village, and you're like, oh my god, I can fuck any woman I want.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I should try kids.
Well, it's like what makes me feel the most powerful. I mean, seriously, people get off on that kind of stuff. I mean, even like, oh my god,
gays.
I know. I've like felt like I hope this person has listened to this podcast, but I had someone staying with me for the past few days. I was like trying to do like kind of like a favor for a friend who like didn't really know me that much and like seemed kind of desperate, so I like let him stay at my house, and I always kind of thought he was cute, but he's like straight, whatever. but I just kept on making like these like subtle hints. I kept on like feeling like I'm in a position of power kind of because he's using me for a place to stay, obviously,
right, so
you know.
Hold on. You're Epstein and your apartment's Epstein's island?
No, we used to call my apartment the it was like the foreign exchange, like the consulate. It was like the Asian consulate. That's what my roommates used to call my room. It's terrible. But no, I just felt like I was kind of in this position where I'm like, you know, helping someone out, and then
Are you really helping him out though?
I was, yeah. It's not like I did anything like too nefarious or anything, but you just like make some jokes, you know. Ugh. I don't know. It goes both ways, I guess. I'm an equally shitty person, but I'm not like a rapist, at least.
Well, at the end of the day, at least you're not a rapist.
It's so funny. No, I do know a lot of. Now we're gonna get into. It's like God. I wanted everything to be on the podcast now except for this, but I know a lot of guys who, when they were in their early 20s, like not a lot, but maybe like I know like 6 or 7, that like ended up staying with like an older man, like even when they were straight and stuff, they ended up like staying in a room in like some older man's house who like let them stay in it.
Tiger King.
Yeah, it's basically that's what I'm saying. It's basically Tiger King. It's like someone just gives you drugs and gives you food, and you're just like, okay, I'll stay here. And then like every once in a while, they're just like, oh yeah, and if you could just like, you know, just jack me off too, that'd be good. And then I'm not doing this. I'm just saying that like I know.
Seems a lot like you're doing that.
Shut up. I know like, but I know a few people.
Are you that older guy now?
I know. I'm like transitioning into like the older guy who like has all the.
You are
has all
the Tiger King.
That should be my nickname.
Tiger King.
Yeah, it's sorry. I don't want that to sound terrible, but it's funny that I do have friends who that was the thing. It's like they stayed with like some old fat dude in their house for like it's like when you need to, you know, so if you need to get back on your feet, you can always stay at my place, you know. It's like some like creepy old guy. I don't know. It's just weird. And it's never like, yeah, it's always like, oh, it wasn't a sexual thing. And I was like, yeah, but like, did he make you like jerk off in front of him or anything? Like, anyway, Blake, what you got going on?
Nothing. I don't know where to go after that.
Got this big old bottle, baby. What else happened this week? Oh, actually, you know what? There's a pretty funny video of the MyPillow guy getting kicked off of Newsmax. Yeah. But honestly, like, this is just the part where they get argued. It's not like he's like saying a bunch of shit.
Ask our producers, can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this.
That guy's. I love that guy's voice. Sounds like. Watch this guy walk off. So.
Mike,
hold on a second. Everybody, hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening overall.
That's about it. But I thought that clip was really funny too.
Fuck the MyPillow guy. I'll kill him with the pillow. I don't give a fuck. Oh,
you'll smother.
Get her off.
You'll smother.
I'll kill him with the pillow.
He sees AOC's face, and you're like, get her off of here.
I didn't say that. That was a picture of your mom. I love AOC and what she originally ran for.
Yeah, me too.
But just like all politicians, she changed, and she's not what she ran on.
Yeah, and it happens to all of them. I don't know. It seems to happen to all of them.
It's the same thing that the MyPillow guy did. He ran pillows.
Yeah.
And now he's a fucking cunt.
Who knows? Who knew that like MyPillow guy would be like such a central like fucking figure in politics? Dude,
oh god, his commercials are
you gotta admit though, the Trump era gave us some of the best fucking like shit. So it gave us the press conference in front of the Four Seasons auto body shop or whatever.
That's good. Well, dude, that's probably the best fucking thing that fucking landscaping company has ever happened to him. I was a hardcore Democrat and that happened in front of me, I would vote for Trump every year. Like
the Four Seasons. What was it? What is
Four Seasons landscaping? And that's what you guys don't get. Donald Trump supported small business. You said he hated Mexicans, but he supported landscaping, and I just don't get where you guys are coming from.
I just think that like that and that on its own is just so good. There was so much stuff like that where it was like,
oh, there's so much stuff like that.
Of course, I can't think of anything else like that.
I'll think of something. Give me a minute. Fucking what other one? Oh, what Convivi. And there was a coffee company that came out and named their goddamn company Convivi.
That tweet was amazing. When he was like, it was like, despite the national press, Convivi. That's like all it said. There was this one. Oh my god, we were looking through some Trump tweets the other day. I have to find my phone because it's plugged in over there. My friend. Oh my god. Someone I watch every day on Rising, Sagar and Jetty, but he got like to a certain amount of followers and he did like I said my friend. I do not know this person at all. He's not my friend. I did text him say, "Can we be best friends?" but someone said what's your favorite Trump tweet? And he posted it and I forget what it was, but it's so fucking funny. Oh, if you can get my phone. Do you remember when one of my favorite ones was when Trump was getting criticized for like being racist or something, or being xenophobic towards like people like migrants and stuff. It was it was during the election cycles before he was president, and he tweeted out a picture of him eating a taco bowl. And do you remember that? And it said I do it every Cinco de Mayo because I think it's so funny. It's like happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are here in Trump Tower. I love Hispanics.
Did you behind that picture? It's that same picture.
Oh, it has the amphetamines in the drawer. The Sudafed.
My favorite one of that is the one where he posed before he became president, and the eagle. The eagle's like.
Do you remember? I love this is like reminiscing on the Trump presidency. Do you remember when?
I wish he was our president.
Do you remember when it was before he was the nominee, and it was like with all the Republicans like on the stage together at the thing, and I think it was Megyn Kelly who was the interviewer or like
bleeding out of her eyes and
bleeding out of her whatever. No, but that was a good one. But there was like it was like Megyn Kelly. She's like, "Mr. Trump, you've called women liars, fat pigs, disgusting broads." And he said Rosie O'Donnell.
Dude,
he said only Rosie O'Donnell.
That's the thing people don't accept about Trump. He's funny as fuck. The motherfucker is funny. That was his. He
came up with it so well. And like, I tried to show people there. He said only Rosie O'Donnell. Like he corrects her, and then everyone starts laughing, and just that's when you knew. That's when you knew that was such a pivotal moment in like American politics. It was just kind of like, okay, it's all over.
He's
like this is all over. I know if he wasn't president, he'd be such a good comedian. I want to find that clip.
The roast of Donald Trump on Comedy Central is so good. He accepted it.
Oh come on. I love how YouTube is like totally censoring this. It's like, how is Trump only Rosie O'Donnell, not hang on.
Mr. Trump, one of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
She's like smiling too.
She said,
look at her.
Thank you.
It was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks. You once told a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice it would be a pretty picture to see her on her knees.
Whoa.
Does that sound to you like the temperament of a man we should elect as president? And how will you answer the charge from Hillary Clinton, who is likely to be the Democratic nominee, that you are part of the war on women?
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been...
How the fuck does he do that? How the hell did he do that? That's so bad. I mean, it's like horrifying because like America is totally like that. Like sums up America.
But also, if you just took the first 30 seconds of that clip, that would be probably the biggest
clip of
Saturday Night Live for that thing. If he said that, he said only Rosie O'Donnell. That would be so.
That was there's so many.
We should just search Trump's
funniest
moment.
I've searched this a million times. From I like Trump's funniest. Do you remember when he was? Do you remember with Jeb Bush? Do you remember when Jeb Bush was like Trump was like so hard on Jeb Bush because Jeb Bush was like so timid and like obviously not gonna like live up to this Bush name, you know, but I remember he'd just be like, he's like, Jeb, you just keep getting further and further and further over every time we have a debate. Soon you're going to be off the stage. And he kept on being like, oh, did your mom do that for you or something, like to like all that stuff to Jeb? Oh, I want to see. Okay, Trump, Jeb Bush. Let's do that.
After that, we have to do Trump, Ted Cruz's wife. Because he called Ted Cruz's wife ugly or something.
I remember that.
This is a tough business to run for
I know
president.
you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is principled. You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do a thing to solve the problem. It doesn't do a thing to solve the problem.
And of course he's the
Find the Ted Cruz.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I don't want to play this clip like this, but
This is a guy who was a Democrat for most of the last decade. I don't think he represents the Republican Party.
He can't even put on a tie and jacket. He's doing it for president.
So he's doing this to inflame and to incite and to draw attention, which seems to be his organizing principle of his campaign.
This guy can't negotiate his way out of a paper bag.
And whether it's Donald Trump or Barack Obama, their rhetoric of divisiveness is wrong.
Very weak on immigration, wants to let people come in. Although now he is using Anchor Baby. Now because I used it, he's using it.
I appreciate the fact that Mr. Trump now has a plan, if that's what it's called.
Jeb Bush is a low energy person. For him to get things done is hard.
You win when you campaign like this. You don't win when you're campaigning like this.
You know what's happening to Jeb's crowd, as you know, right down the street? They're sleeping. They're sleeping now.
There's a big difference between Donald Trump and me. I'm a proven conservative with a record. He isn't.
oh my god.
Find Donald Trump, Ted Cruz's wife.
Oh god, there's a thing where he's talking about Jeb Bush's wife too,
yeah,
and he's like, my wife is a wonderful. He's like, oh, I'm sure she is, and it's so stupid. Oh, I don't want to play like these other people's clips
I
and
just
stuff.
want the
Yeah.
clip.
If I could say, you know, remember Lion? I won't say Lion Ted. I refuse to say it. Lion Ted. Holds that Bible.
I love when Trump says what he says, like, I won't say who it is, but it's this you know, like,
Lion Ted. I
won't say who.
I puts it down and then he lies.
Donald is a bully. The man is utterly amoral.
I think he's crazy. Honestly, I think he's crazy.
This man is a pathological liar. A narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever seen.
He is choking like a dog because he's losing so badly. We have to put him away tomorrow.
But you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
So will you support him as the nominee?
Wait, I know a Trump quote's coming out. He's gonna talk shit on his wife.
I am answering the question. Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
He's leading right now. You
Donald
just looked in
Trump will
that camera
not
and
be
said
the
he's
nominee.
a coward. Will you support him as the nominee?
Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
Oh, come on.
We gotta find. Wait.
Oh my God. There was a really good clip about.
On Monday, George W. Bush will campaign in South Carolina for his brother. As you said tonight, and you've often said, the Iraq War and your opposition to it was a sign of your good judgment. In 2008, in an interview with Wolf Blitzer talking about President George W. Bush's conduct of the war, you said you were surprised that Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi didn't try to impeach him. You said, quote, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
True. But they didn't try to impeach Bush because Pelosi was also tied into all this nefarious stuff.
This isn't gonna be good.
There's a really good one. No one's gonna listen to this anyway, so I'm gonna play something from The Late Show. But they did this they did a mashup on Jimmy Kimmel about Obama's speech about killing Osama bin Laden versus Trump's killing, the one where they killed al-Baghdadi, and it's so funny. Oh my God, this is one of my favorite videos of all time.
I hate Jimmy Kimmel.
I do too, but this is really good. Look how young Obama looks too.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
The United States launched a targeted operation against that compound.
They did a lot of shooting.
Did a lot of blasting.
Going through the front door. You know, you think you go through the door. If you're a normal person, you say knock knock.
After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
He died like a dog.
Look, listen.
A beautiful dog.
We give thanks for the men who carried out this operation.
And I don't get any credit for this, but that's okay. Here we are.
May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And I'm writing a book. I got 12 books. All did very well.
that mesh, I just like, he's like, he died like a dog, a beautiful dog,
That's
a talented dog.
That's our president for 4 years.
No, it's insane. Okay, this is enough. We're talking about Trump. I think it's enough to call it, huh?
This has been the second episode of Circle and Square, and it died like a fucking dog.
A beautiful dog.
Oh God,
a talented dog.
Damn Asian beautiful dog.
Okay, we'll see y'all next week.